9. Yes. 9 minutes. The lighting does not look that great. It's very cloudy today. Today is Independent Bookstore Day and the start of the South Sound Book Crawl. The book crawl has like 11 independent bookstores throughout the South Sound area, and we're going to 4 today on Independent Bookstore Day. I'm very excited. I'm going to be attempting to buy one thing and one thing only from each place, because we're going and like you get like a passport and they'll stamp it off at each place that you go to. It's from now until May 4th, so there is time to do this. And then once you complete the whole thing, you turn it in or something at maybe one of the bookstores, and then you actually get like a coupon thing for 20% off at like every single bookstore. I don't know if it's like one item or one purchase, I have no idea, but it's good until the next time we do the South Sound Book Crawl, which sounds amazing. You get like a whole year to do that. So we're actually going to some of the ones that are a little bit further away from us today. We're going to be hitting up Gig Harbor, Bremerton, and Port Orchard. There's one bookstore at each place, but actually 2 in Port Orchard, and we've never been this way before, so we're very excited. Probably going to get breakfast and stuff as well, but that's what we're doing for the vlog, so let's do it. Hello.
Hello.
We got bagels and coffee. Yeah. The bookstore is actually right over here. It's gonna take us like 1 minute to walk, which is great. They had like different stuff that they posted on Instagram of like places you could get breakfast, places you could get lunch. Let me tell you, the bagel place was packed. The line was way out the door because it's a small space inside. It looks really, really good. I got like a cheese one with like scallion cream cheese because I love green onions. Leon got like a French toast one. Elliot got a little tiny French toast in that they gave us for free. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Runaway water bottle. Oh my gosh. They gave the kids a little French toast, like almost like a donut hole, but it's a bagel, for free. Presley did not want it. Okay, move that over there. So Elliot is eating both halves of it because they gave us one. But yeah, you are so silly, both of you. But yeah, so after we eat, we're gonna go to the bookstore. Yeah. What?
Bookstop.
Bookstop. It's a bookstore. Wanted to see the beach.
Daddy, look, that's a.
Is it a shell?
Yeah.
And do you have shells too?
Huh? Yeah. No.
Is this the beach like you wanted? It's pretty cool, huh? Presley really wanted to come to the beach because he thinks in order to get a fish tank and a fish in our house, because he really wants one, that you have to, no throwing sand, you have to go and breathe underwater to get a fish. And I told him that's not really possible, so he thinks then we need a fish for a fish. And we're not gonna do that either, but we are at a beach,
Mommy,
sort of. Whoa, look at that rock. Yeah. We are at a little beach in between our bookstores. We are now in Port Orchard. There are 2 bookstores here. I did buy one book in Gig Harbor. And then they also had, you could get an ARC for free, books that have already come out. And I grabbed one, and I don't remember the title at all. Something about like an epic love poem or something. I'll have to show you guys later. But we are, once we're done at the little beach here, probably gonna go to the bookstores and find some lunch. Okay, so we have gone to 2 more bookstores. One of them, the Sinclair Inlet books, a little bit more like literary, way more nonfiction, didn't have very much genre fiction, and I think it was a little bit more used. I did find a book there, and then we also went to Salmonberry Books, which, like I said, my goal was to like buy 1 book per place that we're going to. They actually had an author signing at that one, and it was somebody that I actually have been curious about, so I did get a book that was signed. It's an indie author. And then I also had found a different book while I was there, and I got a t-shirt because it was very cute. Again, I will show. And then because of that, I was only like $10 away from getting a free tote bag, which was also really, really cute. So I did pick up 1 more book there. So I actually got 3 books at Salmonberry Books. I think out of the 3 bookstores we've been to so far, all of them are very small and cute and, you know, indie bookstores. I don't know if they're all like brand new stuff or like a mixture of new and old, but Salmonberry Books specifically had a lot of like kids stuff and genre fiction. Like I could see myself going back there quite often if I want to make a longer drive to an indie bookstore, just because, you know, it is up in Port Orchard. But I really liked that one. Like the vibe and everything was great. So we are on our way to our last bookstore for the day, which is going to be up in Bremerton. It's only like a 15-minute drive, and right now it's saying we only have 10 minutes left, but we're driving along like the water the whole way, which is pretty nice. So we are home, and I have a bag of things that I need to show you, and I did think we'll just sort of do this now in between each day that we do the book crawl instead of like all at the end. So the first book that I found was at the Invitation Bookshop. I got The Truth According to Ember by Danica Nava. This one is going to be some sort of rom-com by a Native American author. And I have been interested in it since it came out last year. The Invitation Bookshop was really cute. I think it was new in that area. Like I think they moved, so a lot of the stuff, like the shelves were not like super full, which is not a bad thing, but I did find something that I was looking for. And then like I said before, they did have ARCs that you could get. They are things that are already out, doesn't even have a cover on it. But I picked up Just Another Epic Love Poem by Parisa Akbari. I had never heard of this before. Maybe if I would have seen the cover, but I don't think so. It says it came out March of 2024, so last year obviously, and we'll see. It just based on the back, I was like, this could be something good. Best friendship blossoms into something more in this gorgeously written debut for fans of Nina LaCour, Jandy Nelson, and Elizabeth Acevedo. Based on that, it makes me think this might be a teen book, young adult. I literally had no idea what this was, but I was like, you know what? The idea of the title and stuff got me, so I did grab that because the Invitation Bookstore was having ARCs when you bought something. The next bookstore that we went to was the Sinclair Inlet Bookstore. So obviously the first one was in Gig Harbor, then we went our way up to Port Orchard, and I got The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. So like I mentioned, basically after we went to those shops. And then we were on our way to the next stuff. This one was another small one, which is not a bad thing. I think everything that we went through today was pretty small. I mean, I guess it makes sense when you're like an indie bookstore and stuff, but a lot of it, like a whole wall pretty much, was like nonfiction. And then there was a little bit of children's, but like very, very small amount. And then the other wall was mostly literary fiction, not very much genre fiction. They were also, I think some of them are used, because yeah, I only spent like 10 something on this book when it's normally like 18. At this place though, because they didn't have like a huge selection of children's books, they did have some like little toys and things. The kids did pick out a couple of those like 3D printed things. Presley got a snake, Elliot got a little horse. It was really, really cute and adorable. So I was like, okay, so we did spend a little bit of extra money there. The next one we went to was another Port Orchard store, which was just down the way from Sinclair Inlet, which is Salmonberry Books. I got a free tote because I spent way more money than I should have there. But I mean, like, look at this. I really, really love the whole like all killer, no filler type of thing. It's like they're stabbed. It's great. But part of the reason I spent more money there is I did pick up one of their shirts. It's purple. So this is sort of like what it would be. It's like this cute little girl sailing on her book, and it's just like, yeah, it is their bookstore and whatnot, but like it's just so cute. They had a yellow version of this, but I feel like I look better in cool tones. So I got the shirt, and then the first thing that I found, and I think I mentioned this before, I really like this independent bookstore. They had a lot of genre fiction. It was very colorful inside. Like it just like, it felt nice, even though it was, again, a smaller shop. It was stacked tall with books. But the first one that I found to get was Bloody Rose by Nicholas Eames. This is the second book in the Kings of the Wild, what is it, the Band series, which is like a band of mercenaries. The first one, they have to go and rescue the daughter of one of them, and they're retired, so she's like in her 20s or whatever. And this is a companion sequel. I've been meaning to get to it. It's very thick, but I found this. I think it's one of the first times I've seen it in person in a bookstore, so I had to get that. And then they were also having I think like a local author signing, and she had a ton of books in store, not just like to be signed, but like in general. And it's one that I had originally picked up the ebook during a like Stuff Your Kindle, I think. And it's A Body in 3B by Erin Scott. And so it was there, and I could not help myself. So I did get it signed. It was her last copy today. And so I was very, very excited, got it signed. This one is gonna be more of like cozy mystery. Just mystery, I don't know, something like that. But the very beginning is in the heart of downtown Seattle. So like local author, murder mystery type of thing. She was also giving out little bookmarks, which is cute, has all her stuff on the back, as well as, I guess, either because I got the last one or she was doing it with all the books, but I got the last one of this one, like an art print of the characters, and I think it's very, very adorable. I got this during a Stuff Your Kindle, so I think it also has some romance in it, but it is gonna be more mysterious as well. And at that point, I was only like $10 away from getting the tote, and it's a very cute tote, I showed you. So I also picked up Pines by Blake Crouch. This is the first book in the Wayward Pines series, another book that I just was like, I've always considered getting this and reading this, and saw it there, and I don't know if I've ever actually seen it in a bookstore either, so I did pick this up. So we have like romances and fantasy and mystery stuff going on, and then we had one more bookshop to go to today, which we went up to Bremerton. So we went up to the Ballast Book Co., I think is what it is. I'm sorry if I said that wrong or got that wrong, because these are all new bookstores to me. And this is like the furthest one away from my location. But again, I really, really liked this one. It felt slightly bigger. It was, again, also stacked to the brim with books, but it had posters everywhere, fan art of things everywhere. It had very like queer energy, lots of different rainbows and pride flags and things everywhere. So it was very, very nice. So I also ended up buying more than one book. I know, I said one book, and like for two of the stores I did, two of them I could definitely see myself going back to many times and supporting them, and I got more than one. But so the one that caught my eye that I had never heard of before was A Harvest of Hearts by Andrea Eames. I did not realize this was another Eames. That is funny. Okay, coincidence. I saw the edges and I saw the table it was on, and like there was other things on the table that I've read before and loved. And so I was like, you know what? I'm very intrigued by the cover and the edges. Let me see what this is about. And it does say, in the beloved tradition of Howl's Moving Castle, a whimsical and unforgettable story of fantastic adventure, common sense, and the power of love to overcome the greatest of obstacles. I'm not the biggest fan of Howl's Moving Castle, the book, and I think it's the writing style, so I'm hoping this is gonna be better, but the movie is great. But it's basically, I guess people know that when magic workers come, they're gonna harvest human hearts, and our female main character accidentally gets her heart snagged by a magician, but he's new to it and doesn't really know what he's been doing. So cozy fantasy type of vibes, potentially. I also picked up Snow White and the Dragon and Sleeping Beauty and the Seven Dwarves. I've already read this, but because it was there and it's pretty and I need it on my shelves anyway, I did pick it up. This is a middle grade fantasy where the princesses swap, which is great. And then we did get the kids some books as well because we found this one, Not Quite Narwhal by Jessie Sima, which is adorable. So Elliot decided she wanted that, and then Presley decided to pick out Prehistoric Sea Monsters. This is a level 2, which is higher than he's been reading before, but he is at the point where he's reading stuff, so I think he can definitely do this. So those were all the books that we got, and we're going out to Olympia tomorrow for 2 bookstores. So that means we're buying at least 2 more books. So I will see you tomorrow. Okay, so it is day 2 of the book crawl. We are headed to Olympia today. We're gonna do some other stuff as well because the bookstores don't actually open till 11. So we're gonna go somewhere that the kids can play for a little bit and things like that. But I'm hoping to check off those 2 bookstores today. And then that way, hopefully at the end of the day, we'll have 6 bookstores down and just 5 more to go in the next couple days. No, cantaloupe goes over there. Cantaloupe.
This is corn.
Corn. There is a fish. Why do we have fish? Who knows? Oh, okay. Can you push a button?
And Elliot's going to the moon. No. Elliot's going to the moon. No.
In a boat? Yeah. In a ship? we are back from our day in Olympia. So like I said, we went to the Children's Museum for the kids, did a lot of stuff there. We were there for over 2 hours. Then we decided to go to the farmer's market for lunch. We looked around there for a little bit, but not too long, partly because I was so full from lunch there that I didn't actually want to buy anything, because I prefer like getting the more like local produce. We'll do some other farmer's market stuff closer to us later in the season. But also Presley was pretty much done after playing for so long at the museum. So we did go to the 2 bookstores that were there. So the first one that we went to was Browsers. And it is bigger than some of the ones that we visited yesterday. It actually has a second floor with only like food and travel books, I want to say. So I did look at it, but it's obviously not the area that I was going to be in for the most part. And I ended up finding something that I had never heard of before, but it was faced out, and I was trying to find, and for most of the bookstores, I was trying to find something that like you feel like was sort of curated by the indie bookstore. So like on the table, or has like a shelf talker where it's like, we recommend this, or such and such in the store is recommending this book. I couldn't find anything exactly like that, but I do feel like something similar is when a book is faced out, so you don't just see the spine, you see the cover of it. So I picked up Strange Pictures by Uketsu. I have never seen this before, never heard of it before, but I'm very curious because it's the Japanese mystery horror sensation, and I don't know, there was just something about the nature of the cover. I think it's like the neon green part of it. It is translated fiction. There is going to be some sort of pictures and stuff in it. And I was curious. The spine-tingling bestseller that has taken Japan by storm, an eerie, fresh take on mystery horror in which a series of seemingly innocent pictures draws you into a disturbing web of unsolved mysteries and shattered psyches. This apparently, I think I saw on the back or somewhere, the author is like a YouTuber from Japan, and this is like what he wrote, and it became very, very popular. Again, something about this drew me in, and so I did pick this one up. Then we moved on to Orca Books, which is again a little bit bigger than the bookstores yesterday, but very much like used bookstore, which is not a bad thing. But it is smaller than some of the other used bookstores that I've been at before. I think they had some new books as well, but because it felt a little bit smaller, the sections that I would normally go to, instead of having a few different shelves to look through, you had like one area of like just this one section was sci-fi and fantasy, or just this one section was fiction. So it was not like super expansive. It was a bigger bookstore than some of the other ones, but I did have a slightly harder time finding a book there. We took longer at that bookstore because of that, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I do want to go back there eventually because they had a ton of like older used books. But what I did find was this, Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu. So this is a book that I saw somewhere, Amazon Prime or, you know, something, made a TV show starring Jimmy O Yang. And I just, something about that TV show, I have been interested in it, have not watched it. I knew it was based on a book, have not read it, never even picked it up. I saw this here, again, it was faced out, which I do think helps a lot. If you're gonna be selling books and you wanna like actually do stuff, you face it out. I used to work at Barnes & Noble, and that was one of those things that we did when we had new books come in. You tried to prioritize those new books as face outs on the shelves if they weren't in the like actual new release section. That's all based on corporate, but the face outs you could do. Or if you really wanted to sell a book, you faced it out. So this was a face out again. And so this one, I knew the name. You know what I mean? I recognized the title. And it turns out that it's written sort of like a screenplay. And that is actually why I picked it up. The fact that we have like Act 2, Interior Golden Palace, and it has that. Something about that made it seem not as intimidating, because I do think this one's technically a little bit more literary fiction, or at least that's how it's usually shelved, versus genre fiction. But it says Willis Wu doesn't perceive himself as the protagonist in his own life. He's merely generic Asian man. Sometimes he gets to be background oriental making a weird face, or even disgraced son, but always he is relegated to a prop. Yet every day he leaves his tiny room in a Chinatown SRO and enters the Golden Palace restaurant, where Black and White, a procedural cop show, is in perpetual production. He's a bit player here too, but he dreams of being Kung Fu Guy, the most respected role that anyone who looks like him can attain. Or is it? Like, there's something about this. Like, I was really interested in the TV show, but I knew it was based on a book, and I just have not pushed myself forward for any of those, TV show or book. Yeah, I really like the idea that this is written as a screenplay, so I had to pick this up. So I only picked up 2 books on my trip today, which was the goal originally, right? It was the goal to get 1 book per bookshop. Obviously, if I like a bookshop more, I did find like those 2 bookshops yesterday that I spent more money at, more books at. I really liked the vibes. They had a lot of stuff curated in the genre fiction stuff that I go for. They had a lot more books per shelf space. Like, it was packed to the brim, you know what I mean? So I'm finding some bookstores that I really do want to go back to, and things that I probably would never have actually picked up by myself for whatever reason, especially like this, where like I needed to have it in my hands and be able to open it up and see that it's not just prose. I love the idea that this has pictures in it too. I'm very happy with these picks so far. So yes, today is Sunday. That's all we have for today. Presley does go to school tomorrow, and it's a late start. So I think Elliot and I are just gonna go to 1 bookshop tomorrow and then do the other 4 on Tuesday, because we are over halfway done now. We've done 6 out of 11.
Yes,
Just
6 out of 11.
Yes, 6 out of 11. But I'm so excited to see more of these indie bookstores. So yeah, I will start this back up when we're ready to go again. Okay, so I made it to our next destination, which is a good book in Sumner. This is one of those places that doesn't really have parking. It is only street parking, and I never had to learn parallel parking in Arizona. You did 3-point turns instead, because like we basically have no parallel parking whatsoever. And so usually if we go places that need that, Leon drives. And I'm parked at like the very beginning of the parking section because I found a spot that I didn't have to like back into, because there was a couple other ones, but this is a big SUV and I feel like those spots might not fit that as well. Like, I was just like super nervous about it. So I drove around a little extra to find a better spot. Like, I just wish, even if I had to walk a little bit longer, that there was a parking lot thing somewhere versus having to street park on like here. I've street parked over by like downtown Puyallup because they actually have like little markings of like spots for the cars. Or like, I think one of the places that we parked yesterday in Olympia also had the same thing, where they actually sort of had the markings. So it was like, this is a parking spot, and it was big enough. Like, I didn't have to judge the space myself, but I had to today. And it's okay because I didn't have a car in front of me and a car behind me, just in front of me. And actually they're leaving. So I think I'm gonna pull up to feel a little bit safer over here, just because of the way the parking is. Like, just like, yeah, I'm in the spot by the sign. Okay, the building is right in front of me. I love the look of the buildings around here. Like, some of them are like very brick and old and things like that. I just don't like the fact that everything is street parking without like the actual parking lines. Yeah. Okay, well, it is time. Elliot is with me because Presley's at school. So we're gonna go to our next stop. Where are you taking me?
I know.
You don't know? Okay.
Ah, look.
Oh.
Look.
Oh, okay, children's loft is upstairs, so I guess we can go this way because this is where she's taking us. Up the stairs. Oh, she found it. That's so cool. Yeah, just like a children's loft area, which is pretty awesome. Elliot found this one herself, which I think she found the toys too, so yeah. Choo choo, ready? Okay, so we came home and we went grocery shopping on the way home too, so it's a little bit later in the day, but I really like that bookstore. It is one of the biggest ones that we've been to. They have new and used books, and they also had their children's area up in a little loft area, which was very, very cute. So because of all of that, I came home with more than one book. If I'm really liking it there, I do think that is easier for me to do. So basically, I wanted to get something that I want, and I ended up picking up A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by J. Penner. This is a book that I recently talked about in my new releases video. They had sprayed edges and stuff, but like this is one that was indie published that I think just got picked up to be published traditionally. Like this is a new cover and things like that. It is really, really cozy fantasy with like a baking competition. I've been very excited about it, and it's just like super, super cute, and I saw it on the shelf. They didn't really have any like shelf talkers and stuff, probably because it was new and used, but this was a face out. So of course I saw it. It's just easier to find things that way, especially since I feel like with me having kids and usually having to take kids with me or even just Elliot with me, I don't get the chance to just sort of like browse the books. And so things that are on the shelf where you can just see the spines, I would need a little bit more time to browse them, especially if they're things I haven't heard of before. And so when I have kids, it's harder. So I have been finding a lot more things that are faced out. And this is something that I've had on my radar. I definitely want, and a very different vibe from like the things that I picked out yesterday, which is great. So I did do that. We also were up in the children's section, and I picked up a book for Presley. This is a Minecraft book. It is a level 3, which is probably a little bit harder for him, but I can read it to him. I just think it's gonna be a fun story, and it actually was on sale for $2.99, so I got that one as well. Then up there, I found this, The Story of Gumluck the Wizard by Adam Rex. So this is actually a chapter book. It does have pictures and stuff. Again, gonna be a little too hard for him to read by himself, but I'm sort of interested in this. So part of the reason I picked this up is because Adam Rex. We have a couple different books by Adam Rex, but like one of my favorite children's books is called On Account of the Gum, and it's by this author. The art style is like, I don't know, more painterly-esque in a way, but like it has a bunch of humor in it. Like it's a very sort of silly, wacky story, and I feel like this is probably gonna be that way. I read the first few pages, and it's very, very cute. Like I want to read this for myself. So watch out for this because I'm probably going to put it in my ratings and reviews and wrap-ups and whatnot. This is not just going to be a children's book that I read with my kids and then never talk about again, like this one, because that's not for me. This is going to be for me. But because it's a chapter book, I also think we're going to probably read it a little bit at a time, maybe like a chapter or two a night, depending on how long they are. But it has illustrations, and I just want to introduce him to this kind of story as well. This is a story about magic, if you like that kind of thing. It is also a story about a ghost with amnesia, an unpopular fairy, an ungrateful town, and a wise and helpful raven who happens to be a pretty good storyteller. But mostly it is about a friendly little wizard who lives inside a big hill and really, really, really wants to be a hero. His name is Gumluck, and he is a bumbling noodlehead. Like, I want to read this for me, so I did pick this up as well. And then I saw they had some blind dates with a book, and I got one. It was $9.99, so I mean like 10 bucks, sure. I have no idea what is in here. I did pick a science fiction because I do feel like out of the things that I've picked so far for the book crawl, I have not picked any sci-fi. I've picked a lot of, we've been sort of like fantasy, romance, maybe more horror in a way as well, like those kind of genre fiction is what I usually go for. But I haven't really gotten any science fiction, and I do like science fiction sometimes. So I'm thinking this is gonna be a separate video for the reveal and everything, but let's talk about what's on here so far. So this is what they have on the front, the unexpected whiplash that comes from going sideways. Like what? And then on the other side, they have a little bit of an explanation, but it does not seem to me like a specific explanation from a book. Like sometimes you'll get these blind dates with a book that it's like, oh, it's a romance. And then they'll give you like some of the tropes, like fake dating, maybe like small town. And then sometimes it'll give you like a snippet and you'll be like, I know exactly where that's from. Like I'm pretty sure I've seen ones before where they obviously have like some sort of Allie Hazelwood in there where it's like STEM girl meets like brooding professor, and it's like you just sort of know based on like what they put on here. I have no idea, and I feel like it's a little bit more generic. But so on the back it says many plots are based on a what if premise. What if a thing happened that couldn't possibly happen? Or what if a thing didn't happen? Or what if someone presented you with an impossible truth? But if you were to believe it, then you would have to embrace the crazy. And are you really willing to do that? This book has that sideways element to it. The world isn't quite the way it should be, and we're going to explore this difference. Hold on tight, strap on a helmet, watch out for whiplash. I'm curious. It is a paperback. I have no idea what's in here. And so like I said, I think we're gonna make this a different video because I feel like this could be a whole experience, and we'll read it and that too. But so this was the last book I picked up here at A Good Book. I really did like that bookstore. I love the old-fashioned nature of like the outside of the building. I really liked how they have the layout inside. It is really big compared to some of the other indies that we've visited so far. And they had a lot of different stuff in there. Like I could see myself going to that one, and it's like less than 30 minutes away. It's one of the closer ones to my house, which is great. So, oh, I said that was the last thing I got. It is the last thing I got. However, I also got this, Myrtle by the Book. This was an independent bookstore day exclusive. They have like the puzzles and stuff in here. I do have Myrtle Volume 1 that I got for Christmas a couple years ago, and then after we moved, I stopped doing it. But I absolutely love these logic puzzles. I have been doing them since elementary school, just like they used to have these like a lot for kids and stuff too. Not murder ones, but you know what I mean. And I absolutely love it. And this is the exclusive independent bookstore day one. Apparently you were supposed to like get one at the independent bookstore day. And a lot of the places I went to, I did not see them anywhere. However, A Good Book still had quite a few, and they give it to me free, just in my bag. And I was like, thank you so much. I asked for it. I was like, can I get one of those? Like I would have paid, but I got it for free. If you look on the ISBN, like here, it'll have the ISBN on the bottom, but usually this part here tells you the price, and it'd be the last 4 digits, which is all zeros. It means it's free. So I'm very excited to do this though, because I love these. They are basically murder mysteries with the logic puzzle, and you have to figure it out that way. And there's little bits of story like in the answer key in the back. They're just so fun. So I did get that as well. Okay, so today is Tuesday, so very next day, and we're gonna finish this thing today. I have 4 bookstores left, 1 in Lakewood, which I actually just pulled into their parking lot, and 3 in Tacoma. Elliot is again with us back here for the whole journey. She's very excited. She says that she's looking for toys, so we'll see. But yeah, again, the goal is to get our passport stamped, but also to find 1 book per store. And that 4 books in 1 day is the most I've ever done. Like, I feel like I've only ever done like 1 a day. And like, this is definitely a lot, but it's very, very fun. So let's go into the next one. Yeah, there's a couch.
So cute.
And chairs too. This is a cool area, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think all the books are downstairs, though.
Yeah. Tic-tac-toe.
Oh, tic-tac-toe.
Yeah?
It's called chess.
Yeah. Mommy, you see this?
Oh, really?
Look, puzzle.
There is a puzzle. Somebody's doing a puzzle.
A toot.
And shoot.
Ooh, that's a cute.
That's so cool. Is that what you wanted to find, the kitties?
Yeah?
Yeah.
There.
They're so cute.
We party there. You party there, Mommy.
Okay.
Hi, look. Another.
More beds, yeah.
A kitty.
They're for the kitties, yeah. Okay. Do you want to pet that one?
No?
Okay.
That kitty.
Yeah, even with
There's nobody in there.
It's out of stock. So it's one we can order, but it will probably be several weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Mommy, another.
It's just going around, finding all the chairs. And they have a lot of chairs. Oh, is there a panda chair?
Yeah?
Oh.
They're panda chair.
Yeah, they have lots of chairs.
Yeah. Oh, see, you
More chairs? Oh my gosh.
That's cool.
Yeah, chairs.
Ah, look, a dude.
Oh, a stool, yeah. Cool. Just,
Lucy?
you found more chairs?
Yeah.
So silly.
Dog.
Also a door.
Look at that dog.
Yeah, look at that door. Here, let's go this way.
Daddy, Mommy.
Yeah, that way. Or that way. Okay.
Hold my hat.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, girl. Okay, so we are home. We have been for a little while. Elliot actually fell asleep on the way back and slept on the couch for a little while, and then it was time to get Presley, and then we were home, and then dinner and all that kind of stuff. So the kids are going to get a bath with Leon, and I wanted to show you everything that we got. So I had 4 stores to go to today. The first one that I went to was the Lakewood bookstore, which is the one that is closest to my house. And it's very, very cute. The front half is all of the new books. The back half is all of the used books. And they have like little cute spaces for it. They also have stairs that go up to a second floor. And let me tell you, Elliot made us go up and down those stairs like 3 or 4 times total. Mostly because the bookstore yesterday, A Good Book in Sumner, the kids section is upstairs, so she was hoping for more of the same. They have a different sort of area up there. She did find chess and things, and they have like a community puzzle going on, but it has like a table and chairs, and I guess they do like game things there because they had different board games, and that's where they do their book clubs and stuff. And I do have a flyer for the book clubs because like I said, they are the ones that are closest to me. It was just super, super cute. I did have a little bit of issues finding a book there, mostly because it was just me and Elliot. You think having just me and one kid would be easier than me and multiple kids or anything like that. And she is my go-getter, my crazy one. And so because of that, she kept pulling me places and wanting to go back upstairs. Like I said, we went like 3 or 4 times. So it was a little bit harder to like find time to look through stuff, especially because they didn't have as much face outs or shelf talkers or things like that. So everything was basically spine out. I did find a book though. This is A Dead and Stormy Night by Stephanie Holmes. This author has some sort of disease that makes her, I think, like legally blind, or there's something like that going on. I don't know exactly what it is, but the main character here also has the same thing. Like the author is writing from experience, and that means we have disability representation in here, which I think is going to be amazing. And this is going to be a Why Choose romance where the love interests are like villains from literature. Like I think like Heathcliff is in here and Moriarty, and I'm curious about it. I have been for a while, like it has been on my list for a while of things I want to get to, especially because there is, I guess, some sort of mystery here too, because it says my ex-best friend shows up dead with a knife in her back and I'm the chief suspect. Like I need to see about this. So I did pick up this one there, and on my way to the counter, I did find another book that I had never heard of before, which is Floating Hotel by Grace Curtis. This was in the sci-fi fantasy section. Obviously it is going to be sci-fi. I've never heard of this, but I really like the cover. I have been wanting more sci-fi. I think we talked about that like yesterday. And it's just about like a spaceship hotel and different questions that people have there. Like I have no idea, but I did pick this up as well. Then we moved into Tacoma, which had 3 different bookstores there. The first one I went to was Grit City Books. This one, I want to say, was one of the like medium-sized stores that I've gone to over this whole time of going through the book crawl, but it was like very nice in there, very clean, very like, not, I don't want to say sparse, but like everything had its place, and it was just like super aesthetically pleasing. I really liked the kids area that they had. They had these little tables and chairs there, and Elliot wanted to just sit over there, and she had her phone, and I was able to like put her there, and because it was near the back of the store, but I could sort of see over like the bookcases and stuff because they weren't too high, I could actually see her from like almost everywhere in the store, so I felt comfortable putting her there and looking for books. She did end up buying a Bingo's Bingo, like Bingo from Bluey, game that we've played multiple times already today, which was very, very cute. And I did find multiple books there that I wanted, but I did buy one, which was How to Steal a Galaxy by Beth Revis. This is the sequel to Full Speed to a Crash Landing, which I read earlier this year, gave 4.5 stars, really want to continue. I think I have the 3rd book pre-ordered actually, and I just didn't have the 2nd one, but I knew I want to marathon book 2 and book 3, so I was waiting for book 3 to come in, but they had it, so I got it. This is a sci-fi novella series that are like addicting in the fact that I definitely want to marathon the next 2, so yeah, for sure I had to get this one. Like, there was no debate about this. Then I moved on to High Voltage Books and Records. I mean, it's a music store and books, so it was huge in there. I want to say the music record section was bigger than the book section, but I didn't get to explore as much as I wanted to, mostly because when we went inside there was a little area off to the side by the front door that was for kids. So they had like the kids books there, the middle grade books there, the YA books there, but like right by the front window was a little kids play area that had one of those like carpets with the roads on it and cars and puzzles and things, and Elliot wanted to play there the entire time. So I did not feel as comfortable leaving her in an area to look at stuff, even like 1 or 2 shelves over, because their bookcases were taller, so I couldn't see through them or past them, and she was right next to the front door. So I stayed in the middle grade section, and I did actually find 2 books there. The first was Witchlings by Claribel A. Ortega. This is a book that I've wanted to read for a while. It's going to be dealing with magic and witches and covens, and I think these girls don't get into a specific coven or something and then have to go on an adventure and make their own. And I also picked up The Marvelers by Danielle Clayton, another magic school type of one. So I actually wasn't mad that I didn't get to explore as much as I wanted to, because Elliot really just wanted to play, because I did find some good books in the middle grade section. They also do have new and used books there, which I enjoy. And then the last one that we went to was King's Books, which again, This one I think was the biggest one that we went to for this whole book crawl. It was huge. They have new and used books. Their shelves were like up to the ceiling. It was everywhere. Elliot was having an amazing time finding all the chairs. Everywhere we go, more chairs, more chairs. Like it was full of chairs. Like it was just like a very inviting space. It did feel a little bit more hodgepodge in a way. Like it wasn't like as clean, as new as some of the places, but like in a good cozy vibe way because of all the used books and stuff too. And in this one, I could have spent hours in there. Obviously I didn't, but I could imagine myself going back to actually pretty much any of these ones that I went to today, but definitely this one, and just like browsing for a long time. So I did find a book. I picked up No Gods, No Monsters by Cadwell Turnbull. I read a story by this author from the Out There Screaming anthology, and I gave his story 5 out of 5 stars, and I knew I wanted to read more by this author. And so when I saw this one, I remembered that fact, that I wanted to try this author for more than just a short story. That one was horror. I think this one was shelved more in the fantasy area, and it does talk about creatures from myth and legends coming out of the shadows. So we'll see about that, but I was actually super excited to see this there, and so that's what I picked up. So ultimately today, we have 6 books here. I don't know why I don't have them all facing the same way. 6 books here to go along with the other 13 that we got before. So ultimately I have 19 books from 11 stores. I mean, one of them at the very bottom of this stack is my free ARC, so I did not pay for it. And then one is a blind date with a book that I have not opened yet. So like, this is a ton of books for this, obviously. I can't even like put them down. I'm very excited. This is a bunch of different stuff. We have some sci-fi, we have some fantasy, we have middle grade, which I know is not a genre, but I'm excited to have it in here. We do have horror and mystery, and I really want to read a ton of things. I will say I know I've been hauling a lot of stuff recently, so I do think in May I'm gonna be doing a whole only reading the books that I bought this year for my TBR, which I will have to film soon because we are definitely getting to May. And I just really enjoyed doing this book crawl. I think also because we just moved here in June, I never really got to experience any of these like indie bookstores yet. Like I have not been in. So now I've been into 11, and more than half of them I'm like excited to go back in because I love the vibe or the types of books that they have there. I'm just very excited about that. And then also I will say, obviously this book crawl is going through May 4th. The day I'm filming this is April 29th. It'll be coming out to you guys on YouTube May 1st. So you actually still have like 3-4 days to do this if you live around this area and want to complete this as well, because if you can get all 11 stamps and you do not have to buy anything at all of the places, you just have to go and visit them. And then on the back of that, once you complete that, you actually get 20% off, I think one time or something, up until the next time they do the book crawl. So I definitely want to go back in to a lot of these places. And I'm very excited about this stack here. This huge stack. Yeah. Okay, so that's gonna be it from me today. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me. Just a lot of new, different indie bookstores, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.